is there a feisty new challenger to The Economist in development? We meet the creators of Diplo magazine.
We're not communists, we're not fascists, we don't have a political agenda, but we want people to try and be involved with this process. And one way we can do this is using graphic design, and that's what we've done with the magazine.
Tonight on edition 9 of The Desk. Good evening from London and welcome to this 9th edition of The Desk. I'm Tyler Brûlé. Now, what happens when you take some art school graduates from St. Martin's, throw in a few journalists with a passion for European politics, and toss in some paper and good design? You get a new magazine called Diplo. Stephen Armstrong went to meet the founders.
Lurking at the back of this Clerkenwell workshop is the office of London's latest style magazine, Diplo. But these cutting-edge graphic artists aren't plugging hip musicians from Brooklyn. They're illustrating a discussion on the state of Russia's free market economy. Described by editor Charlie Baker as the economist for the style generation, Diplo is his attempt to treat political discourse with the same passion other magazines devote to fashion brands.
I'd worked for a number of politicians, I'd studied politics, and I found everything that they were talking about was very interesting, very important, but presented in very traditional, very stale ways. But our generation wanted to be informed and they wanted to engage in politics, but they didn't know how to. There was no exciting, innovative way for them to do this. So I began to think, how could we try and translate what the politicians were talking about in a more creative way? So I came up with the idea of a graphic design magazine. We're really looking for people who are familiar with Russia to talk about Russian politics, Russian art, Russian culture, Russian society, what Russian identity means today. Every month we have a theme. It's important for the reader to be embraced by a particular subject. We can't just expect them to digest all of this information we're giving them each month. We have to round it off in a theme. The December issue was all about Islam and the West because it was the festive season, and we wanted to try and understand why these two religions were clashing all the time.
What's Diplo's design brief?
Well, the theory of the magazine is simple. It's to build strong, provocative images to engage readers who want to be informed about politics in a more creative way. With graphic design, you can be utterly original. You can just start with a blank sheet of paper and then you can go from there. With photography, you're almost constrained with what's surrounding you. You don't have this blank sheet of paper. And that allows us to be very provocative in our imagery. And one of the problems we were having with the magazine at one stage was that the graphic design was beginning to overtake the content. And people were beginning to approach us. They wanted these Diplo designs. Could we do a Diplo drawing for them? Which was very good, but we were in the dangerous situation that whereas the simple philosophy had been to blend the graphic design together with content, one was beginning to overtake the other.
Put together by politics and design graduates, Diplo's readers are a curious collection of students, creatives, MPs and party apparatchiks. As a result, it's found in both art gallery bookshops and Whitehall bars, proving style can coexist with substance. Although Baker's team are pitching politics to the MTV generation, he spends as much time in fusty establishment haunts like London's Liberal Club as he does in the Institute of Contemporary Arts, with some surprising results. Last autumn, the Foreign Office called him in to ask if Europe Minister Denis McShane could pen a feature. McShane wanted to bypass the Europhobic British press to catch an elusive audience he couldn't reach any other way.
I think today's generation, and not just my age group, but people from all age groups, feel not just dissatisfied, but disillusioned with politics. The danger is now, and politicians know this, they realise this, they know it better than anyone else, that people feel very detached, very divorced from it all, and they don't know how to bring them back into the political process. They need to, because that's how they justify what they do and they don't do.
In the old days, 20-somethings looking to make a splash launched style zines or music papers. Last year, however, EMAP's glamour monthly The Face closed after readership collapsed. With the million-selling Economist officially Britain's best-selling magazine, perhaps Diplo is a sign that serious times demand serious journalism.
We're living in a very politicised world at the moment. International affairs is a highly charged, highly energised environment. There are very limited ways for people to be involved and informed about politics today. You know, more and more people are protesting in the streets every day. We're not communists, we're not fascists, we don't have a political agenda, but we want people to try and be involved with this process. And one way we can do this is using graphic design, and that's what we've done with the magazine.
That report by Stephen Armstrong, and Diplo is available monthly in the UK and Europe.